Hello everyone, and welcome to this new live no-coding session in which we are going to work on a previous project that we've already built. So we previously built this simple blog system that you can see here. We connected the blog posts with the database, and then we even improved it first by adding a comment section. So you can see here in the blog post page, we did add a whole comment section, and people are able to add comments, and you can even review these comments before they're published on the blog. Now in this tutorial we're going to work on more of a front-end aspect of the blog, and it is that the blog is currently not responsive. And what I mean is that right now the blog doesn't work very well on mobile phones, for example. Now on Sketch, what we can do is that we can use these icons here, and these icons allow you to preview the blog or the project you're working on different screen sizes. So you have here the tablet mode, then the mobile landscape, and it's basically the width of the page that changes, and then you also have, of course, the mobile mode. Now the thing is that when you use these icons and when you change the mode to be, for example, on mobile, and you make styling changes on elements in your page, these will apply specifically on the mobile mode and not on the screen sizes that are above it. So just to make sure that you understand, if you select, for example, the tablet mode, it will apply on the tablet mode, the landscape mode, and the mobile mode, but not on the desktop mode. So it's very important to keep that in mind. And also another thing that is important to understand is that whenever you want to make a change that is global to all screen sizes, you always must make those changes on the desktop mode. Otherwise you might find yourself, for example, you want to change this title and make it bold, and if you leave it in tablet mode, it won't apply on desktop mode. So whenever you make changes that are global, that should apply to all modes, always go to the desktop mode. So let's get started. I'm gonna first go back to the home page, and the first thing that you can see here is that here we have a grid that displays the latest blog posts, the latest articles, and you can see that when we start decreasing the size of the screen, so when we go to smaller devices, you can see that the blog post card becomes very thin, which is definitely not what we want. So we're gonna start by making this change. So we're gonna go on the probably on the tablet mode, and we're gonna select the parent element that holds the article cards, and in here you can see that we have previously set these properties on the element, and we had set 3 columns for the grid element. So we're going to remove one, so we only now have 2 columns, which is much cleaner on this device size. And when you go down on mobile, we're going to change it to be only 1 column, just like this. So when you have only one, when you're on mobile now, the articles, the cards are going to display one after the other vertically like this. So we can already save this change, and we can click on the preview, and this is the preview of the page we've built. And one way you can use to test your pages on different screen sizes is to right click on the page and click on the inspect tool, and this will open this page. Usually sometimes it's docked on your browser, sometimes it's like this. I personally prefer to have it undocked, so in a separate window. And what you can do here is that you can click on this small icon, and this will trigger the DevTools to display your page and test it in different screen sizes. So you can see here, right now it's in laptop mode. You can change, for example, on tablet. You see now we have only 2 elements, so 2 columns in our grid. And if you go, for example, in mobile, now we only have 1. So that's great. For this specific example, it's already looking very good. we won't need to make further changes, but just for the sake of further understanding how to use Sketch, I'm gonna make another change here, and it is that usually you can have like multiples menu items here, and on mobile you won't have enough space to display them all, so you might want to add a menu icon and to open a menu when you click on that icon. So that's what we're going to work on right now. So I'm going to go back to the editor, and here we have the header element, and you can double click on it to enter that header element. And now we have these, this is the menu basically, and what we want is whenever we go on mobile, we want to hide this element. So we're going to go to the display property, and we're going to hide this element. We can save, and now you can see if you go back to the preview and refresh the page, you can see that it hides whenever we are on mobile. Now if you change the screen size, you see that it appears again when you're in a larger screen size, and it disappears when you're in a size that is more mobile. So let's go back, and now what we want is to add an icon that will serve to open the mobile menu. So let's drag the icon element, and we can customize it a little bit. We can add a class, so something like open menu or open mobile menu. Alright, maybe we can increase the size here to 1.2 or maybe even more, 1.4. Alright, and what we need to do next is to create a mobile menu here on the page. So to do that, we're going to add a div block. You can add it here, and what we're going to do is this block is going to serve as a wrapper that will hold our whole big menu, and this wrapper should be open or should be visible whenever we want to see the mobile menu, so whenever we click on this icon, and it should be hidden whenever we're just scrolling through the page. So we are going to add a class here. We're going to add two different classes. The first one is going to be mobile or mobile menu wrapper, maybe open. So this means that it should be visible. We can create class, and now we can customize this element a little bit further. So I'm gonna add a background, a dark background, maybe 80%. But first I'm gonna change the most important thing, which is the position of this element, and the position needs to be fixed. And what this means is that this element will be set to a position that is fixed regardless of whether we have scrolled or not in our page. So it will position the element to always be at the same location in the screen wherever it is. So it's fixed, and then we can set the values of the top to 0 pixels. So now it's aligned perfectly on the top of the page. Bottom 0 pixels, left 0 pixels, right 0 pixels. So this means that now the element covers the whole page. It has no, its position is completely covers the whole page. There's no margin between the element and the page basically. Now for the z-index value, this is important to put it to a high value, maybe 100. And what this means is that in your page you might have different elements that are, for example, positioned to be fixed, and the z-index indicates which element should be on top of the others. So if you have another element like a chat icon or something like that, you might want to have it below the menu, the mobile menu, and in that case you should give it a z-index value that is under 100. Alright, so now we can add the menu elements. So we can add some links. So we can first add maybe home, then we have yeah, you can really add whatever you want. So about, you can add another element here, contact. All right, and now we want to stylize them a little bit. So I'm going to click here on the menu element, on the home element, and I'm going to give it a class, and it's going to be mobile menu item. And I'm going to do that with the other links as well. So add, we already created the class, so we just need to select it here. So we need to apply that class now. All right, now we can give them a color. Maybe we could increase the weight, increase the size. All right, and now we're going to select the parent element, so the wrapper of this whole mobile menu, and then we can change the display mode to be a flex element, and we're going to align it vertically like this, and we're going to align the elements to the center. You can also make them stretch, so the elements stretch through the whole area here, and we can justify them to the center. So now they're perfectly centered on the whole menu area. Now we can click back on the menu items, and now we can center the text and add some margins. So maybe we can do 15 pixels here and another 15 pixels here. All right, so it looks good. Now we can save, and you'll see that when we go to our page, now it's already displayed, which is not what we want. I'm going to also add an X icon that will allow you to close this menu. So we can add a new icon. Alright, we're gonna maybe put it white, and I'm gonna change the icon to this one. Now I did change the color, but I want to add a class first. So we're gonna name it mobile menu close. Alright, now we can change the color, increase the size, maybe even more. Alright, and now we're gonna align it to the top here. So we're gonna set position to absolute. You can also do fixed if you want, and we're gonna set the value top to be maybe 5 pixels or 10 pixels, and right to be 10 pixels as well. Now you might notice that the z-index value here might be, for example, 1, and it's still gonna show above the black background, but that is because this element is a child of the black element here, so it will always display on top of it. So we can reset this value, you don't need it actually. Alright, we can also set the cursor to pointer, but that's not very useful because we don't have cursors on mobile elements, so you can just leave it this way. Alright, now this is what we have. We have the X. Alright, and now what we're gonna do is we're gonna set a different class. So now this one is called mobile menu wrapper open, and now we're gonna remove it and apply a different styling to this element whenever it's closed. So we can change the style of this element whenever it's closed, and this will allow us to customize basically how it's going to look whenever it's open and whenever it's closed. And when you click on the menu icon here below, it's going to set the class to open mode, and when you click on close, it's going to set the class to close mode, so it will hide this whole menu. So let's do that. So I'm going to remove this class that we've done. You can remember if you want what we've set for the properties, but we're going to just remove this class, and we're going to create new class, and this one is going to be called mobile menu wrapper closed. All right, and we're gonna apply the same styling here, so it was fixed. Top 0, bottom 0. Left, we're gonna get to it in a second. I'm gonna set the background color to black like this. Alright. And we're also gonna set the display mode here to flex, center or stretch, and justify to the center like this. Alright, so we've replicated the same styling, but now we're gonna adjust the left and right values. So instead of being 0 pixels here and 0 pixels here, we're gonna use a different, we can use percentage, I think. So we can do, for example, if you put 50%, it's gonna move the left value to 50% of the page. What we want is to move it minus 100%. So now it starts somewhere here, so it's outside of the screen. And the right, we want to set it again to percent, and we want it to be 100%. If you put, for example, 50, it's gonna look like this. We want to push it all the way, so 100%, just like this. We can also set the opacity of the element to be 0, just like this. So now the element is completely hidden when it's closed. It's outside of the page and it has a 0 opacity. Perfect. So we can save. We can go back to our page, refresh. Alright, and now you see that the element is not visible. You can click on this and it won't do anything because we haven't configured that yet. And that's what we're going to do now. So you go back to the page, you click on, we're going to use the page navigator to find the mobile wrapper that we are working on right now. It's not visible, it's hidden, but we know that it's here. And we're going to add a tag to this element. We're going to call it mobile menu. And this will be helpful for finding this element in the page using the visual programming tool that we'll use. Perfect. So now we can click on the mobile icon, and we're gonna go to the actions, add a new action. We're gonna call it open menu. All right, and now whenever someone clicks on the element, we're gonna run basically this logic that we're gonna build here. So what we want to do is we want to find first an element in the page. So under page traversal, we're going to find an element by tag. The tag is the one that we just written, so it's menu or mobile menu, I think. Mobile menu. The scope is in the whole page, and we're going to match it only the first one because there's only one mobile menu in the page. So now we found the mobile menu, and what we want to do is to do element operations, and we can set the class of the element. So here we're going to change the class of the element to be mobile menu wrapper open. It's the same class that we've configured a few minutes ago, and we're going to apply that to this element that we found in the page. And we can save, and we can try this right now. So refresh the page, and now we can click on this element, and of course it doesn't work. So we've probably made a mistake somewhere, so let's look into that. So first, I just want to set the cursor to pointer to really feel like we're clicking on the element. And now I'm gonna make sure that we did set the right values for the element. So I'm gonna click on the element, and let's just double check here. The tag is clearly mobile dash menu, and that's exactly what we had here, mobile dash menu. All right, so this seems to be good. Now, okay, so the mistake was very clear. We did not connect this mobile module to the previous block, so it doesn't execute basically. So you just need to link them like this, and now it's going to execute. So previously it just found the element and did nothing, but now we want to set the class, so we need to connect them like this. Alright, so just save, and now it should work perfectly well. So I'm going to refresh the page, and let's click on this, and voila. So now the mobile menu is displaying, and you can click on these links, but we did not configure the close icon yet. And that's, of course, very easy to use, very easy to do. So let's select the mobile menu wrapper, and just for the sake of testing, we want to show it back. So we're going to remove the mobile menu wrapper closed class, and we're going to apply the mobile wrapper open class. Alright, so now it's displaying as if it's open. Now we can select the close icon, go to the actions, add a new action, and you should be able to understand exactly what we're going to do. We're going to find the mobile menu element like this, first match only, and in the operations we're going to set the class to mobile menu wrapper closed, and we'll link them like this, and the element here is the one that we just matched, and we can save. Yeah, we need to give a name, so close menu, and you can save. Perfect. So now it's probably gonna show up right away, and when you click on the X it hides, when you click on the mobile it shows. Perfect. So now there's one last thing that we want to do, is maybe to make the menu transition as if it's an animation, basically. So we have this property here that's called transition duration, and this basically allows you to set the speed at which the element transitions, the element styling transitions. So if, for example, you change the background from black to red, when the transition duration is 0 seconds, it's gonna just turn from black to red, like instantly. If you set it to, let's say, 1 second, it's gonna transition, it's gonna interpolate from black to red. So it's gonna go through the colors slowly through the 1 second duration and turn to red in that 1 second. So when you set this value, now instead of the menu just disappearing right away and appearing right away, it's going to transition, so it's going to slide to the left and it's going to slide to the right when you open it. So now we've set it to 1 second. We're going to remove this class and apply the other one, so closed. And here too we need to set the duration to 1 second, like this. And now we can save, and let's see how it does now. So we click on this icon, and now you see that the menu slides from the left to the right, and the opacity as well changes slowly from 0% to 100%. And when you close it, it does the same thing. So this is basically how you can use Sketch to build very useful utilities in your website. You have total control over the styling, over the logic, over the elements, and we've been able to do that in about 24 minutes. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and if you have questions, if you have feedback for us, please let us know. Please send us comments, send us messages if you have some feedback or feature requests. We would be